Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in. Now that we have basically the most part of free agency and the NFL draft complete, even though we are in the month of May, we are still a couple of months away from training camp. The basis of this video is too early, but that's the point. It is too early to give each team's win prediction, but I'm going to do so in this video. Each team are going to break down how many wins I think they can get for the 2024 NFL season. I know us as football fans, we're dying for some football. We do have the UFL going on, but Lord, we need some NFL football. But it's time to get into my way too early predictions for the 2024 NFL season. But without further ado, let's dive into it. All right, so we are going to start with the defending NFC champion, San Francisco 49ers. I know they lost Eric Armstead. They still had the Brandon Ayuk situation that they have to deal with. And they have a division where I'll get into more of the division later, but I'm not really confident in the teams behind them in the division. So I can see this San Francisco football team as a 12 to 13 win football team, especially in that division, and especially with they still have a lot of their core intact. I still believe that this team defensively with Brock Purdy, still with Brandon Ayuk, possibly if he's still there, Debo, CMC, that offensive line, and I still believe that Fred Warner is, I think, the best middle linebacker, off-ball linebacker, whatever you want to call it in football. So I'm going to put them at a 12 to 13 win football team. Now we're going to go to the Arizona Cardinals, who I still think they're a couple of years away from winning, but I do like they offseason, of course, getting Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft to help bolster that receiving core. They did trade Rondale Moore, which I thought was a little bit of a head scratcher, especially with them needing weapons at their wide receiver position, but I would give them a 4 to 6 wins, and I still believe they're maybe a year or so away from really being a really good football team. Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens. This one's a little bit tough to gauge, and I think this is probably more based on the teams in their division versus what they're going to do. Even though they lost a lot on the defensive side of the ball, you still have the reigning MVP. I'm going to put the Baltimore Ravens as a 9 to 11 win football team, and I think that has a lot more for me to do with the teams in their division versus the Ravens themselves. Despite what they lost on defense, I'm going to have them as a 9 to 11 win football team. Next, the Buffalo Bills. Now, this season, I won't be how it was in the past. If you guys are new to this channel, I've been high on the Buffalo Bills for probably the last at least 3 seasons. I picked them in the Super Bowl probably the last 2 years. I can't do that. With losing Gabe Davis, with losing Stephon Diggs, Tre'Davious White, you name it, they don't have it anymore. And I still believe in Josh Allen, but I think their win total could drop to 9 to 11, and I would not be surprised if this is a 7-8 win. But I think with the play of Josh Allen, with him being one of the more elite quarterbacks, and you still have him, I think by default, this is probably going to be a 9 to 11 win football team. Next is the Carolina Panthers. Do I want to put them at 1 to 3? Maybe. Because this football team still has a lot of work to do. I'll be safe. I'll be the safe bet to put them in 1 to 3. I really think that this football team is just not good. Even last year, I didn't think they were going to be that bad. And with them not having the first round pick and they traded back into it to get Xavier Leggett, it's still not a very good football team. So, Bears, this one. Crazy. Call me crazy. There was a 7-win football team last year. They were 3 blown games away from being a 10-win team. I'll get more into that probably when the NFL releases a schedule and I do my schedule prediction and total win-loss total for the Bears. But if they don't win at least more than 7 games, it's a lot of change that need to be happening with the additions that they have. DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, Caleb Williams now, Odunze. They have a lot more on the offensive side of the ball with the offensive coordinator in Shane Waldron. So this, I think by default, has to be a 9-win team. And this might sound like a lofty expectations. They have to be a 9-win football team, at least in 2024. Next is the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is one of the reasons why I had the Ravens at 9-11. I'm going to put the Bengals at 9-11 because I think a healthy Joe Burrow with this offense, you know, we still kind of mixed on the T. Higgins situation. Tyler Boyd is still a free agent, which is a little bit disheartening, but I think a healthy Joe Burrow gets this team at least 9-11 wins. Full season healthy Joe Burrow, full season healthy Jamar Chase, solid, I think a little bit better, I want to say just a bit offensive line. That defense, they do get Von Bell back. I still think this is a 9-11 win football team if there's a healthy Joe Burrow. Next is the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to put the Browns at 7-8 because I think Deshaun Watson could be a question mark heading into the year. This was a team that was a playoff team last year. I think they were 10-7 last year, don't get me mistaken. I'm not looking at the records right now, but I think this football team is a 7-8 win football team. Why do I think they might have a drop-off? I'm skeptical. The only reason, and I think the main reason, is I'm skeptical of Deshaun Watson going forward. He just hasn't proved, even when healthy, that he could be the quarterback of this football team that leads them to big wins and big success. I like Deshaun Watson personally as far as football playing goes. I don't know. It's just a question mark. Now we have the Dallas Cowboys, a team. This team is a little bit tough to gauge because I can see them at being 9-11 or 7-8. But I think for the sake of this, I'll put them at 9-11. But I don't have any high confidence in this. Mainly, I think the loss of Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator could be a difference. I don't know what we're going to have with as far as the running game goes with the Dallas Cowboys, because I think a lot of what Dak has been able to do and have success with is based a bit on the running game and not just his own legs. I think that is going to be a big question mark for the Cowboys. Defensively, I still think they have the pieces now with a healthy return in Trayvon Diggs. So we shall see. Next is the Denver Broncos. I'm going to put them at a 4-6 win football team, and this is why. They get rid of a lot. Bo Nix is probably QB1, and to be honest, I don't have the highest of faith in Bo Nix. They traded for Zach Wilson, and we know what his career has kind of been like. So I'm going to put them at a 4-6 win football team. Next is the Detroit Lions. I could put them at 12. I could put them at 13. For the sake, I put them at 9-11 win football team. They could easily be 12-13. Coming off an NFC Championship game appearance, I still think this is a very good running game with Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs as the two-headed monster. They have a very good offensive line. They just paid Penei Sewell. They have a really improving defense led by Aiden Hutchinson. I still believe this is a very good Lions football team, a very tough Lions football team under Dan Campbell. So I'm going to have them as a 9-11 win team. Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. For me, it is very important to have a VPN to protect my online privacy. It'd be very, very creepy if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing that you did online. So why let your internet provider really do that to you online? The best thing to do is to get yourself a VPN, and why not go with the ExpressVPN, the best VPN available. Personally, I like it for the fact that you can unlock Netflix shows that you do not get in the US market. Now, one show that I've started to get myself into is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You search Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the US, doesn't come up, but you can switch your location to Canada and you can research Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and bam, it pops up right then and there, and you can catch up on your episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, if you click the link in the description below, you will get 3 free months of ExpressVPN. Just by clicking the link below and you sign up today, you will get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. All you have to do is click the link down below and you will get Express VPN. Now, let's just get back to the video. Next is the Philadelphia Eagles. This might sound crazy for me to say, but I think defensively, I might have to put them at 7 to 8. This is kind of crazy. It's just the defensive pieces, a lot of the main pieces on their defense are getting a little bit older. They did draft 2 corners, which I think is a big help, but a lot of the core of this Eagles defense is just getting old. And then the fact that they lost Hassan Reddick, and then the fact that they did bring C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, which I think could help. But it's just the fact that a lot of the tools, a lot of the pieces on this defense are just a little bit older. So I'm going to put them at 7 to 8 because the last half of the year was just a head scratcher. Next is the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to put them in a 4 to 6 win range. And I'm only doing this because of Kirk Cousins' health. If Kirk Cousins is healthy, this could be a 7 to 8 win team. And if the Achilles is something that he still has to really get back in shape in even during the year, I think even though they have pieces on both sides of the ball, I still think this is a 4 to 6 win team depending on Kirk Cousins' health. And not drafting anybody in the first round that could be a production right away instead of drafting Michael Penix Jr., I think could be a real big letback for this Falcons team. Next is the Green Bay Packers. I want to interchange them and the Bears, but my expectations for the Bears are a little bit higher. But I still think this Packers team with Jordan Love, with some of the offensive weapons, Christian Watson, hopefully he has a healthy year, Josh Jacobs in that backfield, a defense that I think should be much improved. I still see this as a 9 to 11 win football team. I just do. I really do. Even though I hate them, I have to give them credit where credit is due. Next is the Houston Texans. This is a 9 to 11 win football team. Possibly could be 12 to 13 depending on if CJ doesn't hit that sophomore slump. And you guys know, you see the Ohio State. I'm a big fan of CJ. But adding Joe Mixon, adding Stephon Diggs to Nico Collins, adding Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins to Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz at that tight end position, a defense with Will Anderson Jr. that has gotten better and better, Derek Stingley as well. Petre has been a good player. I believe this Texans team can do big things in 2024. Next, the Indianapolis Colts. I want to put the Colts in between. I think this is going to be just a mid football team. Not to say anything bad, but Anthony Richardson really didn't have much of a rookie year because of the shoulder injury that cost him basically most of the year. I think year 2, I think we're going to see rookie part of Anthony Richardson in year 2 because he didn't get a lot of those in-game reps in year 1 due to injury. I still think this is a mid-football team. I just really do. I really do, so I'm going to put them at 7 to 8. Next is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They could be 7 to 8 win team. Mainly, I think the loss of Calvin really can hurt, even though they did bring in Gabe Davis with Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne on offense. Defensively, that's where I need to see improvement for this Jaguars football team. That's where I need to see improvement. I have them at 7 to 8 wins. Next is the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to put them at 12 to 13 wins just so the fact that they got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, you can't count this team out. Losing L'Jarius Sneed could be a big hurt. Rashee Rice, we are assuming he's going to be suspended for the first 4 games. I'm just assuming that. And drafting Xavier Worthy, I still don't think the Chiefs have that true number 1 receiver. I just don't. But we've learned we just cannot count out the Chiefs at this point. So we're going to put them at 12 to 13 wins for the moment. Next is the Los Angeles Chargers. I personally going to have this as a 7-8 win football team. I just personally think a lot of the defensive pieces. Number 1, Joey Bosa needs to stay healthy. 2, that secondary needs to be better. 3, we're going to see how this team is going to function offensively without Austin Eckler, who was a big part of this Chargers offense for quite some time. So at this point, I'm going to put the Chargers at 7 to 8 wins. Next is the Rams. I think I can have them at 7 to 8 wins. They surprised a lot of people making the playoffs during last year. And Matthew Stafford's health is a key. Cooper Kupp's health is a key. But Puka Nacua's season was very good. The loss of Aaron Donald on that front, I think that could be a big hurt with him retiring. That defense is still a little young, but I do like the fact that they have been improving. So I'm not going to count the Rams team out as far as the things that Sean McVay and this defense can do and the offense has been able to do. So I'm going to leave them at 7 to 8 wins. The Las Vegas Raiders are next, and I'm going to have them at 4 to 6 wins. I just still don't think that quarterback situation is solved. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, I still don't think the quarterback situation is solved. So I'm going to have them as a 4 to 6 win team. The Miami Dolphins, I think they're going to be a 9 to 11 win football team. I think they're going to be the team that possibly overtakes the Buffalo Bills in that division because of the fact that the Bills, I think, could have a drop-off. And I think the Dolphins can be a team that fits in that void with another team in this division, which I will get to. But next we have the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to have them. The Vikings are a little bit tough. I think with the quarterback situation, it's too early. I have to wait to see how it goes. But for my 2 early predictions, I'm going to have them as a 4 to 6 win football team because they lost DeLeon Hunter. They lost DJ Warnham. No longer having Kirk Cousins. I think this football team is going to be a little bit of a below average football team, especially if you're ingratiating J.J. McCarthy in there. Even though I think J.J. McCarthy can be a good quarterback, but I think a lot of what he did at the University of Michigan was based off of the fact that they had a very dominant running game and a very dominant offensive line. So at this point, for the Minnesota Vikings, I have them at 4 to 6 wins. Next is the New England Patriots. I still think it's not going to be a very good football team, to be honest. Even though Drake May, I think can come in and be I think he's a quarterback that I like him being in the New England Patriots position because he doesn't have that pressure to win. He can develop. And I think this is what the New England Patriots season should be about more than anything is the development of Drake May as a quarterback in the NFL. So at this point, I have them as a 1 to 3 win team. But it's all about the development of Drake May. The New Orleans Saints, I think this is a very mid-average football team. Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, the things they have on defense, Marshawn Lattimore from The Ohio State. Cam Jordan is getting a little older. Demario Davis is getting a little bit older. So I still think this is a very mid football team at this point. Next is the Giants. 4 to 6 wins, I think, is the best spot for them. I still don't. I'm not a big believer in Daniel Jones. I thought they could have went around and got maybe another quarterback or went to. They did try to move up. I think they could have benefited by moving up. So I think the Giants are still a below average football team. 4 to 6 wins for me. The Jets, it's between 7 and 8 or 9 to 11. I'm only putting 7 to 8 is based off Rodgers' health. They do have the weapons of Garrett Wilson from The Ohio State University. Lazard, I think, could be better with a quarterback that can deliver the football. I still believe Breece Hall is a very solid running back. They did improve this offensive line. And defensively, one of the better units. I think balancing out with a better offense can help this team. But for 2 early predictions, 7 to 8 wins. Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to put them at 7 to 8 wins, maybe 9 to 11 by default because of the Mike Tomlin streak. It's interesting to see what my boy Justin Fields is going to do, what Russell Wilson is going to do at that quarterback position. Could it be better than what they had last year in Rudolph, Trubisky, and Kenny Pickett? We shall see. I think defensively, this football team is still a very good unit with TJ Watt, Cam Herbert as an Ohio State Buckeye. But I still believe that this football team is 7 to 8, and I'm tempted to put them at 9 and 11 just off the default of Mike Tomlin never having a losing season. Seattle Seahawks, I still think this is a mid to average football team. Loss of Shane Waldron could hurt. They do not have Pete Carroll in the building anymore. So it's interesting to see how this team is going to go. Defensively, I do like some of the pieces. Devin Witherspoon on the defensive side of the ball. They lost Bobby Wagner. He was a veteran in that locker room. So we shall see how this team is able to go. I like the running game with Kenneth Walker III. Weapons and Jackson Smith-Jigba, The Ohio State University, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I like offensively the pieces. I just want to see how everything comes together with this new coaching staff. Next, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm sorry, I think I had them dropping off a little bit. I think that defensive unit is going to take a bit of a fall. It wasn't great last year, but losing Sean Murphy-Bunting the year before, they lost Carlton Davis. Devin White went to the Eagles. I think they're going to have just a bit of a fall off. That's just me. The Tennessee Titans, 4-6 wins. That's right up their alley. I just think with this Titans football team, we're losing Derrick Henry, who's been the identity of this football team. They still, I don't think, have that solidified quote-unquote quarterback with Will Levis is coming into this season more than likely as a starter. With the new regime, new coaching change, I still think this team is a ways to go. And last but not least, the Washington Commanders, 4-6 wins. Jaden Daniels, I think just like the New England Patriots, for the Washington Commanders, this season should be about developing Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin, with Jahan Dotson. I really just think this team is just in the state of just develop your quarterback. Just like the Patriots, just develop your quarterback. But these are my early win-loss predictions. I know things can change as far as maybe preseason, maybe things that I'll start to see in training camp for each of these football teams. But this is what I got it at right now. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.